I feel the liquor holding on to my breath, playing back every word that I said. I'm sitting in the dark, reminiscing on the two of us. I didn't think you'd leave, baby, I guess I was just thinking that wasn't my best. We had everything, it was gone before the summer started. Got the memory of a love filling my lonely nights. Still think about you from time to time. I'm not asking you to come over, just wanna hit your line, baby, one more time. So tomorrow in the morning, can I call you when the sun comes up? Just to hear the way you say my name, it reminds me of what it was. Would you answer if I called you? Yeah, I know that it's been a while. So tomorrow, can I call you when the sun comes up? Call you when the sun comes up. I'll take this beating heart out of my chest, let my words do the rest. Can we light up a spark, bring a fire to the dark? Girl, you know that I need you. I got the memory of a love filling my lonely nights. Still think about you from time to time. I'm not asking to come over, just wanna hit your line, even if it's the last time. So tomorrow in the morning, can I call you when the sun comes up? Just to hear the way you say my name, it reminds me of when it was us. Would you answer if I called you? Yeah, I know that it's been a while. So tomorrow, can I call you when the sun comes up? When I drive down that street with a song on repeat, yeah, I think of you. When you're in the backseat and your heart skips a beat, do you think of me? When I'm drinking high life on a Saturday night, yeah, I think of you. Girl, when you dance in the lights, looking up at the sky, do you think of me? Do you think of me? Tomorrow in the morning, can I call you when the sun comes up? Just to hear the way you say my name, it reminds me of when it was us. Would you answer if I called you? Yeah, I know that it's been a while. So tomorrow, can I call you when the sun comes up? Call you when the sun comes up. love, love enough to go around. In space, breathe it in and slowly breathe it out. There's a place just for us here in the gold dust.
Said that you've been hurt one too many times before. Ended up staring in the bathroom mirror, crying on your bedroom floor. Baby, you can take my word, you haven't gotta hurt no more. Things are about to get much better. I wanna make this forever. I wanna make this forever. Thank